to week 1, day 1, race 2 of the winter tournament. I am Apex Corbin. Joining me in the booth will be Archfield. We've also got Sinister Sama and Schmike tracking. Our contestants tonight, we've got Dweem, juef, Harveece, and aaron2u2 to kick us off. This is going to be a very competitive group. I've been looking forward to this one since they put it up on the spreadsheet. This is different than your summer tournaments. Those of you that are used to seeing the standard tournament flags that I run, that, a lot of those Sunday night weeklies run, this is a different animal. This tournament, it's got the unique format that every week we're going to be looking at a different flag set. And week 1 might be the most vanilla, but there are quite a few changes from what you're used to seeing. One of them being random chest locations. So let's break this down for you. Typically, we've got permatorch on, so it's easy to find our way through the various caves, and we know where the chests are. Well, throw all that out. City chests are scrambled, castle chests are scrambled, cave chests are scrambled. There are predetermined locations, but there's quite a few of them, so you'll see a lot more of these caves than you're used to seeing. We do still have random stat growth, random map, random spell learning, all good things. So people will have to keep track of a random overworld map. We don't know what the levels will bring, and spells could come in any order. Weapon shops have random weapons, but the fun part is they've also got random weapon prices. Now, in preparation for this tournament, I actually did a practice seed, and we saw the magic armor, the flame sword, and the silver shield for a total of 51 gold. I wish it was that cheap all the time. In addition to that, there's random experience requirements. So levels, I could not predict when they're going to come. Usually the early levels come with just a bit of experience, and the later ones tend to be more, but that's going to be all mixed up. So you could have someone come in, get 2 or 3 levels, and then just grind and grind and grind before they see another one. Those are the fun ones. In addition to that, the experience and gold you get from the monsters, also randomized. So you could have a red slime give you 100 experience. Wouldn't that be sweet? Other things of note are that monster stats are randomized. So that red slime that's given you 100 experience, it could be as strong as a red dragon. It could be just absolutely brutal. And those are the fun ones. So one of the strategies you're going to see here is the runners are going to look for the weakest enemy with the most experience to get them going, because you never know what you're bumping into. So survivability is king under these flags. In addition to that, we've got random gold. And that random gold, we don't know how much of it we're going to need when we get to shops. Could be anything. There are some shortcuts. We've got speed hacks turned on, which means text, notifications, they're all going to go a lot quicker. So we're not spending as much time in non-combat or exploration aspects of the game. We've also got short Sharlock. It's a single floor Sharlock, and you'll see when we get there, the treasury is scattered in a couple of different spaces, so that will add steps to the character or to the runners when they get to Sharlock. If they're still looking for something in the chest, there's extra steps on that single floor. But if you're hoping for them to go to the judges' table, it's not as punishing as it used to be, because you enter in the bottom floor of Sharlock, and there's a staircase just to the left that you can use to access that. We'll see if there's any fun shenanigans happening there. Another shortcut is magic keys are not required. So right off the bat, you're going to see our characters, our runners tonight, able to access the throne room, able to see what's underneath Tatangel. They're going to be off to the races. It's going to be all about getting experience, getting stronger, and being able to explore on this overworld map and finding out what sprite represents what type of enemy. Beyond that, it's other than those minor issues, other than the fact that we've scrambled all of the stats, We scrambled all of the weapon locations, all of the prices, all of the experience, all of the gold, all of the requirements. Other than those minute details, this is going to be pretty much more of the same, right? Now, we are holding for a bit. Harveece is getting logged on now. I do believe we'll see the race start before too terribly long. But thank you for your patience while we get them up and running. Yeah, it looks like they're in the race room, and right now they're hovering over fast, so we should be dropping the gate pretty soon. Honestly, I'm pretty excited about this. Dweem and Aaron, we were talking earlier. Dweem's feeling a bit under the weather, so we might see a Michael Jordan flu game out of them. And if you guys watched last year's winter tournament, you'll know that aaron2u2 won the whole dang thing. So there's a big target on his back. And I think we're going to see everybody bring their A game in this week 1 race. Just because, you know, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And this is their first chance to do so. Now, I myself haven't run these flags a lot. We are underway here. Let's see what we've got in the starting room. Now, this is going to be 3 random treasure chests, no keys. We've got a gold start, torch, and more money. Gold, torch, gold. Starting spell is repel. Repel can be pretty valuable in these flags. You can repel much more than you normally can, and some weak enemies with DL2 breath, you don't want to see them anyways. So we've got the double dip to the throne room to try to set up a gold grind, because you never know what's happening below. In the treasury, I see a fighter's ring and more gold. In case you were wondering, in case you needed more gold, there it is for you. Now, whether we can use that gold or not remains to be seen. Aaron2u2 is already rounding the backstretch of Tantagel to look for additional treasure chests and quite possibly explore what's in the basement. Let's see what we have down here.
Okay, I think I'm tuned in now. All right, yeah, I think I'm on. Am I on?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the intro and everything. Apex was with getting started a little bit later there with one of the racers, so had to kind of do things on the fly as we were getting underway.
Well, you missed a whole lot of gold, fighter's ring, and it looks like Aaron2u2 is going to try his luck with a Axe Knight.
Yeah, so one of the things that you mentioned at the outset is that these monsters all have their vanilla abilities from the vanilla games, so those Axe Knights will always have sleep, and as a consequence, you can have those kinds of things like we saw right there happen.
And we get the rude reset. Now, it still remains to be seen whether that gold means anything. If it's a treacherous overworld, then that doesn't really add up to much. But if there's a town nearby and say you find a silver shield for 1,000 gold, a death early on would certainly sting.
For sure. It looks like we've got some swamp in a couple of directions here. Juef has walked through part of it to the north there. And just a quick note to the trackers, I tried to start the timer and I kept clicking the button and nothing happened, so it's just kind of stuck there. And to the viewers as well, of course. I don't know if there's something going on my end or what, but...
Well, we got started at about the 22:30 mark, so we'll just have to do it by hand.
We'll just rectify by hand as we go.
There we go. I see a number 12 up in the timer now. We're doing better.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So I do see Aaron has managed to get to level 5 on 81 experience.
Yeah, Juef has apparently found some experience as well. And one of the things you're looking for when you're trying to find a noodle is that the noodle will have its abilities overwritten. So even though we're dealing with vanilla abilities today, if you see a monster that has their original ability, you know that can't be the noodle. Now, that's not to say you can't kill it, but you know that it will not be the noodle at least.
Well, I saw 43 experience off a very weak golem. I wonder if that wasn't it.
Yeah, that might have been it, and I think that is in fact the case. It's fine. The auto mod's very aggressive, so it didn't understand you meant noodles there. I think it was thinking you were talking about something else.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, that's all right. None of these monsters. We need these monsters to have some equipment on.
And I'm seeing red slimes are beatable too, with Juef getting 48 XP off of that, 9 speed, 12 hit points, 10 magic. I did not see how much attack, but they have now caught up to aaron2u2.
Well, a sentence you would never be able to say in standard flags. Dweem just crit a metal slime and it didn't die.
Now, I do see a town on Juef's screen, but Juef is in the red, so probably going home. And yes, the Warlock sends them home. But there's town in sight, and I think Aaron is on it as well.
In theory, Slamu, a crit on 4 strength could do 2 damage, and it's something I've been waiting for my entire Dragon Warrior Randomizer playing career. Would love to have that one. I did manage to bag the 7 and actually the other day an 8 turn sleep. Those are very rare because under normal circumstances they can't happen. Weird things have to happen for that to make it. But
well, speaking of slimes, we just saw a regular slime hit you for 46, so watch out for the blue guys.
And we do have a town here. Cole has some cheap gear, got 101 gold flame sword. Always nice to see.
I mean, I think you buy that without even checking search spots, right?
Exactly. Well, and one of the things about this flag set, we've got the searches are not shuffled. So here in Cole, we know we're guaranteed to have a fairy flute. We know the token is on the overworld coordinates and the armor must be in Hawksness because of the random chest interaction between random chest locations and vanilla chests and searches. So those search spots are all unrandomized, and you'll see a lot of flute skipping in this flag set because golems, the racers have already seen plenty of those. They know they're not dangerous, so you could just ditch that flute very, very, very safely.
And you love to see it, especially as a runner, because the flute is just one of many things that can gobble up valuable fairy water space.
Yes, and you really want that fairy water sometimes. There can be some tough enemies, maybe on a spike tile, that you would need to beat in Charlock, and if they have, max agility or near it, then the defense can be such that your fairy water's really, really important, if not for repel, then for dealing some damage in certain circumstances.
Absolutely, and you said it yourself. With these random monster stats, we can have weak enemies with strong abilities, so being able to repel them and just not have to deal with them is going to make for such smooth sailing, especially on a Charlock dive. Seems our runners have plateaued a bit here. I see experience in the 200s, but we're still at level 5 on both Juef and aaron2u2, with Dweem and Harveece catching up.
Yeah, I think I saw Dweem go through Swamp Cave, a couple of chest checks there, but I didn't see anything of note. Really, we've only got that fighter's ring so far.
As a runner right now, you're looking for the fight that gives you an edge. The thing that gives you experience that you can repeat, that you can kill easily, that maybe your opponents haven't found yet. Just anything to get you that strength and get you in front of everybody.
Yeah, you really want to find something you can one-shot or close to it that's not going to one-shot you in a high encounter rate zone, so something with desert preferably, but hills if you need to. It's going to be valuable. And if you latch onto that, then really you can gain a lot of levels very quickly, typically speaking. But right now, I see Aaron on level 6, and he's got 500 experience, over 500 experience, and is still on level 6, so not quite sure what our to next level is. I don't think we've seen a death on 6 yet to get that check, so.
And that is a fun wrinkle. On these flags, you've got no idea where your next level is. So you've got two options. One is speak to the king, either after dying or after making a dedicated trip. Or two, and the less popular option, is to use Gwaelin's love.
Yeah, you'll see, I think, even from players who typically count if you have a situation where you might feel like you want to rescue the princess in this flag set, that can help. Because it will give you that ping to know when your next level is going to show up. Oh, here Juef's in the throne room right now. 523 to the next level for him, and he's on 459, so it's going to be around 1,000 that we'll see this.
And it looks like Aaron is settled in and is already halfway there at 730 plus whatever this warlock brings.
84.
84 on that warlock. That's a very tasty little fight.
Yeah, that's not bad. And it looks like they're broken, but maybe not running quite yet because the runner's strength is still so low. So that's decent. And of course, with the warlocks, that sleep hurt combo, they're going to waste a lot of turns anyway, so you can stop spell them. And it looks like render them basically harmless in this particular seed.
Yeah, that early stop spell paying dividends for the runners.
It's pretty big, especially because you know, since the vanilla abilities are vanilla, you know the enemies you have to use that on, so you can just preemptively fire that at things that you know have sleep, like this Axe Knight that you see on Juef's side, like that Warlock, and like a Red Dragon if you see one of those.
Now we just saw the next level on Aaron's side that brought 4 strength, what was that, 3 speed, no hit points, and 2 MP.
I guess that qualifies as a level?
Anything with a 0, right? That's a good level. At least
sure.
tries viewing.
Yeah. Not much. Yeah, we've not seen much here. I think runners really just kind of looking for an enemy to fight, and Juef here cleaning Swamp Cave out is going to take a look at the other side, I think. And yes, to answer the question in chat real quick, Chadbert, yes, enemies run away based on your strength, not your defense, and not your attack power, by the way, just your flat strength. Your strength, if it's at least 2 times the enemy's strength, then it will have a chance to run away.
That's very interesting that it doesn't take weapon into account.
Yeah, apparently enemies just kind of are looking at how bulky you are as a person and not whether you're carrying around a big axe or whatever.
So at this point, with the low strength start, as a runner, I know I personally start to get itchy, is what I call it. When you don't have any strength and you're grinding these levels and it's becoming, a bigger and bigger grind to the next level, hurt can get you through a couple of fights, but you need an edge. You need a way to, take on bigger and bigger enemies to start to widen that experience gap. So you might see some people really push exploration.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the runners intend to handle this. I think Aaron, now on level 7, having gotten that hurt spell, there's actually a lot of combat you can do with that. You've got sleep as well, stop spell. So there are some things you can find to pick on, perhaps, and if you don't like what your opening zones are, then it does make sense to start pushing out a little bit, even though the resources aren't really there yet. This
Yeah,
axe,
especially if you're not getting the experience you want to see.
exactly. This Axe Knight is still breaking our racers. Aaron has Flame Sword and the Fighter's Ring, so he's operating on 50 attack power and still just did a 1 damage to the Axe Knight. I think he didn't really manage to land the stop spell, but he's going to try to sleep and hurt this now instead.
This almost looks like a vanilla speedrun.
That's right. The Axe Knight was actually reasonably valuable, but that was kind of high effort. I'm not sure if he'll try that again.
That's a whole lot of resources, but if there's, only 1 or 2 good enemies in each zone, it's kind of a kill what you can situation.
Exactly.
And we see Breck.
Alright, we've got Breckenary here. So Juef has got some magic armor there, too expensive. Small shield is cheap. Not as cheap as it is under normal circumstances, but still there, I guess. There is 1 chest here in the Breckenary Inn.
And we have an herb. Not the huge breakout item they were probably hoping for, but you're never sad to see an herb, honestly.
No, I think particularly in this type of seed, an herb is just like, okay, that's fine. It's probably better than a torch right now, although, I don't know. You might like to have a torch around for these chaos enemies, depending on the circumstances.
Well, we do see another town here to the southwest as well. Naturally, it's Hawksness.
Naturally Hawksness, and there is a chest here. It looks like there's some enemies we haven't quite seen yet. And a broken knight. So this chest is the Silver Harp, one of our loose quest items.
And at this point, even though they do put a priority on the tiles to be the tougher enemies, is that correct, Arch?
Yes, generally speaking. Now, what the game designates as a quote-unquote tougher enemy, oh goodness, well, that looks pretty tough to me. 67 damage from that wyvern. But what the game designates as tough can sometimes depend on the different stats. So maybe it just has a ton of hit points, maybe it has a ton of strength. That wyvern seemed pretty beefy, so it's hard to say how tough that will be just yet.
Well, I believe that wyvern was a few steps short of the spike as well, so we could have a double whammy. Looks like you're settling in on the warlock.
Yeah, I think he's done probably more Explorer than any of our runners to this point, or at least more productive Explorer, and has not come away with much for it. So it's possible he's going to try to look for a grind here. Maybe just settle down for a little bit.
Yeah, as a runner, it makes you really nervous when you invest that much into exploration without a discernible edge to come from it. Whereas Aaron has done medium exploration, but is pushing 2K experience.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, he's going to get this half plate here too. He has just enough money for it. And Aaron has been, I think, kind of looking to pick on some enemies as he's been exploring too, maybe perhaps specifically looking just for some better grinds, but hasn't really found much of anything. The kinds of things that he has been fighting have been kind of lower. I mean, lower than median for sure. These chaos enemies can get up to, close to 380 experience, and we've seen a lot of stuff that's double digits, really. So not much to pick on, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, no crazy 200 experience weak to mid-game level enemy yet.
Dweem is in Remulder, and it looks like we've got wow, that's a vanilla rim chest. Pair of wings there.
Now, with there being no keys, Remulder isn't as exciting as it typically is.
Generally not. There are 3 chest checks here, but only that one vanilla chest was there in the seed.
So we did see a cheap large shield, and silver shields were coming in at about $2,200. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dweem doesn't file that away for, future reference.
For sure, and you don't even really need when a piece of equipment is priced that way in this flag set. There tends to be these enemies tend to give a lot of gold. Because one of the things about Chaos, again, like the XP cap is somewhere around the 370s, the gold can go up to 650 just like it would for a gold man in standard flags. So you can end up with some enemies that just, spit out 300 gold, 400 gold per kill. We haven't seen much of that so far, but it is certainly something that can happen. So gold can be easier to come by too.
So you can have multiple enemies with north of 200 gold. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome, RG. Thank you for the raid. And welcome, DW Randomizer team. We appreciate the raid. You've come into a bit of a doozy here. Our runners have been able to explore pretty decent, and there's enemies that can be killed. But other than some early game shopping, no one's managed to find anything to give them a massive edge. So we've got a little bit of an experience race here.
Yeah, really just still kind of searching to try to find any kind of a good encounter. Hasn't really been much on offer in terms of big time experience here or a decent grind zone. So you've kind of seen runners default to explore and then just try to find some enemies to fight in the way. There was a Spectre there. That's 163. It's one of the better enemies we've seen so far. And given they have 2 spells, if you can get those stop spelled, you're probably in pretty good shape. So that's one of the better enemies we've seen so far.
In a seed like this, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see someone settle down on them and just grind until that strength is higher than 29 at level 8.
For sure. I will say a couple levels here in rapid succession for Aaron. He's at level 9 now, and actually the last 2 levels, 8 and 9, big time hit points. You see the difference there between 7, 45 hit points, level 9's 92, so that actually over doubled between those 2 levels.
And that strength holding solid at 30.
Oh, okay, there we go. Red Dragon coming up pretty big there. Now that's 326 over on Aaron's side. So he's the first to find this big monster. It's in a forest zone. You don't love that, but that's just so much better than anything we've seen so far that you kind of feel compelled to stay there for a while.
Well, that level brought with it 17 power and 46 hit points too. So we're starting to see some numbers light up in the tracker there.
Yeah, how about it? Almost 140 hit points on level 11. That happened in a hurry. Now these reds, of course...
We've already got DN hit points.
Yes, we do. Dweem in Garenham, and it looks like Grave is behind Garenham. It's a little bit more vanilla mixed in today. Does not have Radiant yet. In fact, even on level 11, we don't have Radiant. So some of these random chest locations are a bit more time-consuming to check, but we'll see Dweem take a look here. There's one of our other loose items, Stones of Sunlight. So I think we've seen the harp now. We've seen the stones. That's here in Grave. The outstanding loose items are Death Necklace and Erdrick's Sword.
And you bring up a very good point there with Radiant as well. Now, normally in the traditional flags, we're not too worried about Radiant. But with the treasure locations being shuffled, you can save a lot of time by casting Radiant and saying 3 tiles over into an area that you would otherwise have to go down some stairs, around a corner, up some stairs. So that can be just a huge time saver when you get to exploring. And we see Hurtmore at level 12.
Actually, I
Aaron.
was actually a chunk of levels there at once. He actually jumped all the way from 11 to 14 with that one. So, yeah, I take a look at those stats there. 156 on the hit points now. Has hurt more. The strength is still only 65, but that's certainly worthy of exploration now. And I believe, just to not lose the thread on this, Juef is in Mountain Cave. So we'll see if there's anything to pull out of here. Now Aaron's headed into Hawksness. We've seen Hawksness, the spike tile, once before. It was that wyvern that crushed Juef for 67. So this is, at minimum, a high strength spike tile. But Aaron has hurt more, so if he's got some tools at his disposal here, has all the spells, can try to deal with this in some shape or form, and 156 hit points doesn't hurt either. Actually, was that not the spike tile? That was just was that a wyvern that Juef just got before the spike?
That was a loose wyvern on the first swamp tile, if I remember correct.
How about that? Okay, well, armor for Aaron then. Much more trivially than I thought, but here's the wyvern. We'll see if... No, okay, one hurt more endowed, so that's good. But Aaron does not know that that's got some sneaky strength there.
Yeah, that's not something you want to try to just one-shot. You want that thing gone. Greens were so-so on experience. They came in at 119, but with Aaron having the knowledge about the Reds being a little on the wimpy side and worth 3 times as much, I don't think we're going to see a Hawksness grind here.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that you'll see someone sit on a spike in Chaos. There's a bunch of reasons why you wouldn't want to. They can be just, of course, devastatingly powerful. They can be worth not much experience, or maybe they have low enough strength that they're going to run 25% of the time, and that just kind of cuts into your margins. So, yeah, it's unlikely that we'll see anybody sit on that, but who knows? I think we're getting the full Grave experience here from Dweem.
And while we've got you finishing off the mountain cave as well, but still no sign of that third key item there. Haven't seen the token yet.
Yeah, we'll need to find Caitlin for that. We know it has to be on the overworld because of the vanilla searches. So it's really just a matter of tracking down those coordinates, figuring out where they are. And it looks like toward that end...
as viewers are technically in no mode, huh? Once we find Caitlin.
Yeah, strictly speaking, we know there's a flame sword freely available. It kind of depends where the strength goes. We do probably want Erdrick's sword, and we see there is a chest in Gwaelin's cell here as Aaron's doing a preemptive rescue, which makes a lot of sense here. He knows he's going to need the overworld coordinates anyway. Being able to ping your next level experience totals is important, so he's going to do the pre-rescue here. I think it's a good idea in this situation. So it doesn't look like Dweem was able to complete his grave dive, which means we have a couple of locations there we haven't seen yet, but I think Juef was able to get all of the way through Mountain Cave, so there are only a handful of locations that we haven't fully seen yet. We've seen all of Swamp Cave now, thanks to Aaron's Gwaelin rescue here. I guess we're still missing... Are there any towns we haven't seen yet? I guess other than Caitlin, probably not. I think we've seen all of the cave except for Tablet.
Have we seen Harp?
Actually, I think we did, because Aaron's got the staff showing. I knew somebody walked into it, but I wasn't sure if it was a runner who had the harp yet. So yeah, Aaron just got there.
It sure comes fast and furious when there's 4 people running a race like this, doesn't it?
It really does. I find myself thinking more of just kind of looking around and thinking more about what's happening in the metagame than trying to report absolutely everything that happens, because if you do that, you get lost in the weeds pretty quickly. Dweem's into Mountain Cave now, and Harveece in Hawksness.
Now that green dragon seemed pretty tame, but I don't believe Harveece has seen a wyvern yet. Let's see if that comes into play here.
There's our empty stones cave. I think we've seen that a couple of times already, but no chests in there today.
And Harveece going to try that encounter spike.
Yeah, it looks like the green dragon doesn't have much going on. It's hard to tell. It's not broken yet, so it's not going to run. But it does look like it has pretty good defense too, so without hurt, Harveece is probably not going to be able to beat this. It would take a crit, or just a whole lot of fairy water, which I don't think he has on him. Not sure if that would even get there, to be honest, with 2 hurt mores on these greens most of the time, it looks like, or at least that we've seen so far. So yeah, he's going to bail. It's very sensible there.
Yeah, that's a good fight to cut bait on. And Schmike in chat letting us know, and also tracking for us, letting us know that it looks like it's been 2 hurt mores every time for that green. So even with a crit, you've got some work to do.
Yeah, basically with 16 strength, I mean, your crit's going to be 8 to 16, so that's not going to get the job done. Interestingly enough, Harveece is going after this knight with the fairy water that he has at his disposal. It is broken, but looks to be breaking him back, so probably not going to be able to get this done. But when you're so as starved for experience as he has been so far, then I don't blame him for taking a shot at really anything that looks like it might be killable. So a broken enemy qualifies in that department.
And we just saw a crit on that knight for 13 damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the downside. You can get a crit, but when your strength is as low as it has been in the early levels here, then might not even do that much damage.
Well, with the knight doing 1 to 3, if you've got herbs, you know, what are you going to average? 1 crit every 2 to 3 herbs?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's the wrong type of math. You're playing this game.
No, that's the opposite end of the curve that you from the one you want to be on.
I admire the dedication, though.
Dweem's going to hit level 9 here, so that's the start of the big escalation in hit points. And it looks like Juef is not far behind, but it bears pointing out at this juncture, Aaron it has got about a 3,500 experience point lead that only continues to widen every time he runs into one of these red dragons.
Yeah, Aaron's early grind paying off dividends here. And again, a lot of this is about being fortunate enough to find the enemies that work for you early on in the game, and just get to a point where you have the strength in the spell book to take on, you know, as much of what you encounter as possible.
Yeah, and here he's found this red in a desert zone, so he says, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here, and this makes total sense right now. If you know what the enemy is, if that's your grind and you find it in the high encounter rate tile finally, you absolutely think this is the correct decision. You just stay in this spot until you have your basically go, and then you can just repel the rest of the seed, try to get as far as you can, try to save your money if you see a silver shield for good measure, and then try to go beat the seed.
Absolutely. Exploration goes a lot faster if you're repelling 9 out of 10 encounters and you're not worried about getting experience to take on the Dragon Lord.
Strength, still not quite there. I think that was a 1 strength boost.
1 strength, 1 speed, 5 hit points, 11 MP. So a little bit on the back end, but you're still way too weak to be going after the DL.
Interestingly, Aaron going to the repel here, I think he must assume that the red's not broken yet. He's got 69 defense. So if the red was still hitting him for, decent damage, then this might actually be the only enemy in the zone, which if you were encountering other stuff that you don't like as much, then there's no reason not to just repel down to this red.
Absolutely. Pick and choose your fights here. And that's a one-shot for 326 experience. That's your grind right there, folks. If you find yourself in that situation, sit tight till you're ready to go.
Yeah, that strength is still not where you want it. Obviously, the resources are great. You have 162 hit points, 104 magic points right now on level 16 for Aaron, but the strength is just not there. Even with Erdrick's Sword right now, he'd only be on, 114? So... Or actually, Aaron does not have a... Does he have a flame sword? Yeah, he does. Okay. Just checking my numbers there.
Now, Arch, in these flags, do you find yourself over-leveling for the Dragon Lord, or do you like to dive and kind of test the waters first?
I think, generally speaking... Now, the answer to any DWR question is just always, it depends. But... Generally speaking, I think you're going to want to check here pretty soon. As soon as you think your fringe go, this is short Charlock, so you only have the one floor to go through in the basement. And if you can get to the Dragon Lord and just test things out, see what that boss tile is, and if you need to make any, adjustments to try to handle that, I think it's a good idea because you can get some information that way. That said, one of the objectives, I'm not quite sure where Charlock is in relationship to Start or where Rainbow Drop Cave is. So that's one consideration where you might think, you know what, I don't want to make this trip again if it's far away. So maybe you decide to fade that for a little longer. It's very situational, but I think if you do have a good opportunity to check early, like when you're just kind of fringe go, you do it. And especially if you don't know the amount of experience you need to the next level, that can play into that really strong too. If you've got 3,000 go to next level and you think you're fringe, I mean, take the shot, because in this flag set, DL2 can have between 100 and 230 hit points, so you can just get a real cheap kill. If you get into that fight, cast stop spell, it has 50% sleep and just wastes a bunch of turns, you can take that Dragon Lord out in a situation where you might not be able to otherwise.
That's quite the spread of hit points, too. 100 to 230. That's, 10 to 23 attacks if you're doing on average 10?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a big deal. So you kind of have that in the back of your mind as you're thinking about, do I take a shot here? And I think, generally speaking, the correct answer will be yeah. If you think you're kind of fringe, you go ahead and take that shot. Right now, Aaron's at level 18. He's pushing 10,000 experience points, and maybe is just thinking, I'm going to look for a strength bump here and ignore the sword. He's seen a lot already, so if the sword's buried in Charlock someplace, that's the one time where the short Charlock can kind of work against you a little bit, because if it turns out sword's in Charlock and it's not in the final basement, you actually have to climb back up through to try to look for it. So you kind of have to weigh the situation. Right now, the Death Necklace would actually probably be helpful too, as long as DL1 isn't a jerk, because they have so much hit points. But there's probably something that you would think about too in this situation.
And it looks like this red dragon got a little bit of revenge on Aaron with that. I believe it was 4 or 5 round sleep lock, but it's so weak, it's still not even breaking a sweat, killing it.
Yeah, I don't know. One of the things I will say, and at the significant risk of cursing our runners in some meaningful way, other than that wyvern, we actually haven't really seen many kind of big boppers in the overworld that are just gonna wipe out half of your HP pool in one shot. So, I guess we'll see, of course, but Aaron's in Mountain Cave here. We know there's, I believe, not much to find here. That silver harp is in the Hawksness chest, and the Stones of Sunlight are in Grave. So, still looking for Caitlin, though. I think nobody has had eyes on Caitlin so far, almost 40 minutes into this one.
Well, with Aaron exploring what we know to be a dead chain, Dweem has slowly caught up and is at level 14 now, starting to see the big hit point and strength gains. So now is the time to strike and try to close that gap and, gain a little bit of an edge here. Let's see how that pans out. Now we know the harp is in Hawk's Nest, so I think Dweem would benefit greatly from that plus the armor. Then knowing that all that's outstanding is the coordinates, we probably see some repel and check every town on the map.
Absolutely. Kind of basically following that for Aaron right now. And actually, Juef just got taken out by a wolf that was hitting reasonably hard. That last strike that took him out was in the 30s. So just was kind of thin on resources there, though, too. So we'll see if he decides to go straight back to Hawk's Nest or if he's going to make another check. But knowing that armor is there, and all the runners, if they know the flag set, will know that armor has to be there, it seems very valuable right now that you would want to try that check in so you can pull that out if you think you've got a shot.
Harveece now in Hawk's Nest. Let's see how their luck goes. Again, we know how strong those greens are.
And Harveece, unfortunately, just real thin on resources again. Does not have much to go to here. And yeah, it's still breaking him. So, actually, I think he hasn't picked up a level since the last time he tried, so that one's just rough right now. That said, maybe Juef will have better luck here. Does put the green to sleep. Is still not doing a ton of damage on level 11. So this will be a little bit of a slog of a fight, but with Heal More and, 140 hit points, he should be able to get this done.
Yeah, at this point, we're looking at a damage race. They're neck and neck for how much they're hitting for.
Yeah, green's doing about as much damage in melee as it is with the weak breath, so it's kind of same there. Doesn't really matter very much. Guess it's doing a little bit less in melee on average, but not too bad of a fight. And then, yep, Juef takes him out and get his armor. And so that's a big help right now. And I missed it. I didn't actually see who explored Tablet, but Schmike, one of our trackers, reporting that Tablet was not useful. So I think that's basically all of our overworld checks except for the Cantlin chests themselves. There are 2 possible chest locations in Cantlin. And those are the last possible locations where we might see any of our remaining loose items, Death Necklace, Sword, something that might be useful still.
Well, for all the pain our runners have had, we're 41 minutes in, and as viewers, we're almost at perfect knowledge of the map. So it's just something to be said for the randomized experience, feeding everybody levels.
I will say I have no idea whatsoever where anything is in this map in relation to anything else. It's usually bad with 4 players, but for whatever reason this seed, just none of this has sunk in at all in terms of where things are, so I don't even really know where we need to still explore for anything. Aaron, just a quick side note, does pick up a silver shield there, so that's very helpful. Means he can just repel that many more monsters as he continues his exploration.
Yeah, that plus 20 defense from going from no shield to silver shield is huge. And we see Dweem in Cantlin here. This could be a big boon to get them back in contention with Aaron.
Yeah, entirely possible. He really just needs to find a grind. He has pulled away from Juef a little bit. He doesn't have that armor yet, as Juef does, but he does have a pretty decent experience points lead. Both chest locations are occupied here in Cantlin. That one in the inn was just a dragon scale, but we'll see if this one has something, if that guy gets out of the way. Thank you.
He's trying to protect his treasure. I can't say that I blame him.
No, really, it's just this random person wandering through your shop and saying, hey, I'm going to take that chest. So I'd do the same thing. You just jump on it. Fall in the chest. got the 9 north, 52 west there. I think that's, again, with limited knowledge of the map, I feel like that's very reasonably countable. In at least Juef and Aaron's situation, they have both rescued Princess Gwaelin already, so they can just use the GPS to count this out. And Aaron, also in Caitlin, so is getting closer to putting all the pieces of this puzzle together.
So Dweem needs to find Hawksness, and Aaron needs to find the Stones of Sunlight.
That's right. Those stones are in Grave. I'm not sure which direction those are from here, but I doubt Aaron can have much territory left to explore. I'm keeping a close eye on Aaron's screen right now because I'm curious to see what sorts of monsters are getting through his rappel right now. Since his defense is so high, it'll give us a decent indication of what might still be strong enough out there to be an obstacle to our runners. We did see that wyvern, but we already knew that it was not going to be broken anytime this seed based on how hard it was hitting, so.
I wouldn't be surprised if that wyvern wasn't the employee of the month on the encounter tile there in Charlock.
Entirely possible. That spike tile can sometimes be as much or more of a difficulty than the Dragon Lord himself in this flag set. There's our stones for Aaron. Now I'm just thinking now, I think we saw Dweem try to fully explore Grave earlier in the seed, but I do not believe that he was able to finish that, so we'll see with, I think this might be Aaron's last check, and if it is, he might decide to just go ahead and dive this to see if he finds the sword.
Well, we've got Juef in Caitlin now as well. It's amazing how, 40 minutes into a seed, these runners all come to the same place within 5 minutes of each other. It just says something about the, commonality of the theory behind how they attack the seeds, but also how close everyone is in skill.
Absolutely. Yeah, kind of the big separator here is that Aaron was able to parse out that very high experience encounter, leverage that to his advantage. It's led to his big lead here in experience. Did get the death necklace off the top floor, which is something that I had not seen earlier, but Dweem has that in his possession as well, so that does take a little bit of the stress off in terms of trying to find the sword. Aaron's strength right now, maybe not a spot where that's going to matter a whole lot, but obviously with the hit points where they are, death necklace could certainly come in handy in this one. Yeah, it'd be 124 with the death necklace for Aaron, which is still not great. But if the Dragon Lord is a chump, could still do the job. Some fairy water would help with that. And you have, 15 heal mores on Aaron's current level? As well as you'll still have 130 hit points even with the death necklace on, close to it anyway, so. We'll get the last grave check here. There is a chest, and it is just gold, so the sword, I believe, is now guaranteed to be in Charlock somewhere.
So, Aaron has the coordinates. Just came from Caitlin. Has all the ingredients to the Charlock cookies, and now knows that the sword is in Charlock. So I would not be surprised if we don't see ourselves, exploring Charlock within the next 5 to 10.
Yeah, Juef in Grave now as well. It's going to search this top floor at minimum. Aaron goes through Swamp Cave, interestingly enough, and he's going to ping from here, so I think he has a good bead on where this is, and it does look to be pretty close to his current location. He's going to have to go a little bit further south, a little bit further west, and he'll be right in the neighborhood.
That's in the same zip code. That's really close.
Yeah. I saw 1154 to the next level there for Aaron as well, which is interesting. He could definitely think about that, or he could just head for try to get sword. But that's what 4 red dragons, so fairly trivial ultimately. But with that token pickup here at about the 48.5 minute mark, aaron2u2 is our first racer to pick up all 3 items required to get the rainbow drop and gain entry into Charlock Castle.
Well, some good news for Harveece is it looks like they're about to hit, the top of the lift hill from a grind perspective, and hit level 8, 9, up to 11 to 14, and see some real gains. And I'm sure they're excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Harveece has been kind of stuck in the mud on that level 6 for quite a while, and that was for sure the inflection point in this one, where it was just trying to get off that level 6. It was so difficult, the strength was so low, and you really kind of had to make the best of it with some suboptimal enemies, but he is on his way now, so we'll see if he's able to make up some ground here as we head into the closing stages of this one. Aaron's healed up, he's got his drop, he's going to wings away from the magic guys, so I think his intent is pretty clear. He's going to head toward Charlock, which I believe is just west of Start. Yep, there it is on screen already.
And Harveece encountered a red dragon while we were talking, but chose to run. Still not quite there, I don't think. The red dragon was hitting for, it looked like, what was that, 17 on the one attack it did land, and that's a good chunk of your hit points at level 7 on this seed.
Yeah, little prohibitive. You might try the stop spell there to see if you can catch some sleeps for free turns, but yeah, just doesn't know about that one yet. Aaron's going around. The treasury did not yield what he was looking for, so he's going to check this lone chest in the narrow treasury. That's a cursed belt, not exactly what he's looking for.
Well, chat got their wish. It looks like we're going to be heading up into Charlock.
Possible. There are 2 more random chest locations to check. One of them is behind this door. The other one is actually past, kind of, I think it's commonly referred to as the beach chest. There's one chest location that's kind of around the bend from the spike tile there, so we'll see how that goes. Wolves were one of the enemies I expected to see not quite repelled yet. They're not doing a ton of damage, but they have been quite a nuisance here for Aaron so far. Seems like they have decent agility as well, because it's a fair number of run blocks. Not that run blocks are a good measure of agility.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, no beach chests, so Aaron's going to heal up here. He's at minimum going to check this spike, and I believe we have not seen this wizard all seed. Now, vanilla abilities, so we know it has hurt more and heal more, so very prudent to stop spell here. And he gets hit for 54, so... Oh, but that's okay, one shot. Phew! Wipe the brow there.
$33 experience, 1 gold for the Employee of the Month. And we are going to see a Dragon Lord check here. Very bold play, attaching the death necklace right off the bat.
Yeah, before he even saw a swing, and my apologies to Shad, I did say hurt more and heal more on that wizard, but they just have hurt more in vanilla. Very trivial DL1 for Aaron.
Go for 2 on those stop spells. Well, Aaron's switching up to attack.
He should.
Now, does the DL2 have vanilla agility on these flags?
Yes, so all of the stats are the same. It's just the abilities that might be slightly different. DL2 is guaranteed to have DL2 breath, of course, but could have a sleep or a heal lurking. We saw both of those stop spells miss, which is not necessarily telling. And this is going to be a slog of a fight in any event. But could still have a heal hiding back here that we have not yet seen.
And when you're doing 6 damage, 9 damage, heal is devastating.
Yes.
Late on in a fight.
Absolutely. You cannot swing through that, so he would have to just take a beat and try to land the stop spell if DL2 pulled out the heal here. But still have a little ways to go before that might happen.
See the comment in the chat, yes, it's 100 to 230 hit points for DL2 on these flags.
So he is in kill range now, I believe, yeah, Schmeik saying 101. So any swing here could end the fight. At the same time, DL2 could have, 220 hit points, and Aaron would never have had a mathematical chance of actually getting close to this, but is taking the shot here, which I think is very reasonable, given the circumstances.
Getting a fair amount of doubles as well.
Yeah, 93 defense and 127 hit points. Plays pretty well in this fight.
And there's another one.
Ooh, did get the bad heal more there though, so he's gonna have to double heal more. That's gonna put a dent in his output.
I hate giving that double back.
Yeah. It just that happens sometimes. I think that's one of the things. It's those low heal mores are the real danger when it comes to trying to pull doubles. Does get that one back. 49 is safe for him. But this is going to be last swing. Oh, look at that!
Holy cow.
Well, well, well. Everybody get your GGs.
Right?
Yeah, for real. Very low, 124 attack power, Chaos DL2 fight. aaron2u2 pulls it out on the last possible swing. Please, if you have not done so already, get your GGs out in chat for the defending champion, aaron2u2, who starts off his title defense with 5 points.
Absolutely get your GGs out. That fight was awesome. Last swing, hitting doubles, had to give a heal more back. I was on the edge of my seat. I don't know about you, Arch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those ones where you're just kind of plinking the Dragon Lord in these chaos flags and just saying, okay, anytime now am I going to get there? So you got it on that first shot. So now we're still lots of points in play here, of course. Dweem's at level 15, so has a fairly big advantage in experience right now, but it looks like Juef has found the reds, so he could cut into this very, very quickly. And we'll see how this plays out as we're kind of in the backstretch here. There you see on our on-screen tracker those all-important red dragons, kind of the key to the seed. Really the only thing we saw that was over, about 140, 150 experience points the entire seed, so finding those a very, very big deal.
Yeah, honestly, it was those red dragons or bust. There just weren't any other good options that I saw that were going to allow you to keep up with a grind like that.
Dweem has the rainbow drop, is into Charlotte Castle. Level 15, definitely not doable here with the same strats that we saw Aaron use, but Dweem is going to check for sword, and we'll see how hard he digs this. With sword, he would be able to certainly accomplish this at a lower level than Aaron did, but it kind of depends where this is, how difficult it is to get to. Remains to be seen how much he'll decide to explore for this. He's going to throw the hurt more at the wolf. I think this is actually good here. Tough to run from. And if you're just looking for sword anyway, you know you have to bail, so I like that choice a lot. But we are joined by tonight's race winner, aaron2u2. GG.
Thank you. That was
Really feeling every 6 that came in on that DL2 fight.
yes. I'm crunching the math right now to see how low I rolled compared to what I should have rolled.
Schmike in chat saying he had 21 swings for 167. You were on 124.
I should have cleared 181.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that's
damage under.
It's definitely shy. Yeah, it's about around in that neighborhood.
Well, given that double back at the end too, couldn't have felt great. We were all very concerned at that point.
Yeah, I thought about going because I could only be hit for 47. I assumed the odds were in my favor, but didn't feel like it was worth trying. And I'm assuming I didn't. Yeah, no one else has the sword, so it must have been Charlock somewhere. Which to be honest, I kind of messed up my math as it was anyway, and I thought I had the sword. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh crap! I overgrinded.
Yeah, we were wondering if maybe you were just thinking about fading this, knowing the sword was in Charlock when you really kind of hit those reds in the desert, whether or not you were just saying, you know what, I'm just going to try to do this with the flame sword, and if sword's in Charlock, fine, but I wondered if that might be the case too.
Well, yeah, so I don't know. I didn't get the fairy water either because I was like, with Death Necklace, I have a reasonable shot. If things are terrible, Cole's right there. If I really have to, I can go to Breck to uncurse because that's where I go get the fairy water anyway. There's a lot of things, but honestly, I just kind of goofed up. But it looks like, the red dragons. I came in right when you were saying they were like the only thing worth fighting. So I probably just hit that before everyone, I imagine.
That's absolutely what happened, and they've turned into currency in this seed. We did notice that you put the Death Necklace on first turn in the DL1 fight without seeing any hits. Was the proximity of Breckenry, did that play into your math there?
Absolutely. Plus, I knew there was no chance that I could beat the Dragon Lord without equipping it, DL2 at least. So the worst case scenario was honestly if DL1 was defense broke, then I would... or if I couldn't hit him, I'd have to run and go back. And if I still couldn't hit him, I was just going to bail and get fairy water or something and hope for the best. But DL1 was not a factor.
Yeah, he gave up the ghost pretty easy in this one.
Just a real quick update on our sword search. Dweem is in Charlock hunting the sword. There was no chest at the vanilla chest location, but we did see a couple of chest locations had chests, one of them kind of in the big stairway path that I usually refer to as the Nexus, and then one kind of in the hourglass room. So both of those are a little bit higher up in Charlock. We'll see which direction he decides to go here, but he's going to check maybe that spiral first. Actually, no, he decided not to. So maybe he's going back there, though. Yeah, he's going to take this one. There are 2 potential chest locations here, and there is one in kind of this spiral staircase room.
Well, this could make things very interesting because Juef is now at level 18. Same level Aaron was able to win on.
Yeah, so we know this is doable. Now, looks like Juef is picking up the rim chest, so maybe doesn't have quite all of his overworld checks done. Yeah,
or he just needed wings.
Maybe just needed wings. But Dweem... no chest there in the sort of dead-end floor off the spiral staircase, so looks like he'll continue his trek upward.
Sword being very persnickety this seed, very difficult for everyone to find.
Yeah, that was pretty heads up by Juef there. He actually he knew those wings were in the rim chest. He used the inn and then bought his silver shield and just wingsed out. Went straight for Charlock. So Juef and Charlock now too. Gonna do his checks here on this floor and we'll see if he comes to the same conclusion that Aaron did or if he's gonna continue to hunt for the sword as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes, if he doesn't see it up here, because just the fact that somebody's finished, he's probably going to be like, it's probably easy Dragon Lord. And I don't know. If he has Fairy Water, he's going to be in better situation than I was.
Absolutely. 9 to 16 feels a lot better than min rolling 6. What was that? 3 times, 4 times?
Man, I don't even want to go look.
I don't blame you.
I think I got the maybe one extra double than what I probably was anticipating. Even with the one loss there at the end, I got it back immediately.
Yeah, you did have a great run of doubles there, we noticed. And that certainly goes a long way when you're min rolling to start to even out the math.
6 times. That's nice. I did want to add one other thing. I thought I was smart, at least until I realized I didn't have the sword. I was like, you know what? This is the best time possible to grind these red dragons. I'm going to grind straight to go mode because I am barely not defense breaking these guys, and I want to buy a shield the next time I find one. So that was kind of the focus there too. Like, they were hitting me for just barely double digits. I think they even hit me for 9 once, and I'm like, I'm going to be defensive breaking these guys if I get any shields. So this grind will be a lot worse if I try to come back to it later.
For sure.
Is going. They appeared to be debating whether to put the death necklace on before or during the fight, but we get an immediate death necklace, so we're all rooting for you. It's it's going to be tight. It was a last attack for aaron2u2. Let's see how this pans out.
Full resources going in, so here we go. He'll fire the first turn stop spell and deal 2. A lot, frankly, might hinge on how many times he decides to try to cast this. Does land it on the second try, though, so lets him off the hook here. Ends up on a 47, is going to heal more, so here we go.
So at 124 attack, we're looking at 6 to 12. What was the number we have to get to here?
At least 167, somewhere in that neighborhood, was Aaron's damage, so it's roughly a vanilla Dragon Lord.
Yeah, I did 159 without killing him, so it's somewhere 160, 167.
So we could very easily see 18 to 20 attacks here. My math might have been slightly off. 16 to 18.
Just me, or is he not getting a whole lot of doubles?
What I was just gonna say. As that happens, does pick up a double there, and is on a fairly safe total for making sure he keeps that double on the next heal more. The rolls themselves have been reasonably good, though, I feel like. And he's got a 48 here, so a choice to make, but on 127 max, probably safest just to go ahead and heal more of that.
Yeah, that double was a 10 into a 12. That's really good for him. And there's an 11.
Yeah, a lot of double digits here, honestly. It feels like he's probably rolling slightly above average, but again, gets just kind of clipped there. 47 hit points. Decides to heal more, so we'll see. Does get a double here. Another 10.
I haven't been counting along, but I feel like they're in pretty good shape.
I want to complain about the lack of doubles, but then I see him roll a 12, and I'm like, well, that's like 2 of my doubles there.
Exactly.
Yeah. 12's as good as a double 6. Got him. Again, right at the end. Possibility there for a low melee. Might have had another attack in the bank, but any breath, of course, kills. But that does it. So Juef is going to be our second place finisher. We'll take the 3 points here in week 1.
Get your GGs out in chat for Juef. And again, another very tight margin on that DL fight.
While that fight was taking place, Dweem did come away with Erdrick's sword, looks like. So that was quite a dig, though. I think that was probably one of the chests. Was that one of the chests in the Nexus there? I did just miss it at the end, but I know he was exploring that floor before he left. Kind of that big repeating stairway maze off of floor 1.
I think that term short Sharlock was a little bit misleading in this case.
Yes. Yes, it was.
And you love to see it. Harveece is finally through the gross levels, level 14, full spell book. Our heart goes out to you.
And he said before he hadn't really practiced at all or played much since standard tourney, so I had a feeling this was kind of his de-rust.
Dweem's got a handle on these reds now, so with that 10 strength level, might decide this is the spot. Does have the death necklace also, so he'd be operating on 134 should he choose to use it, which would certainly be a better position than either of our 2 finishers so far.
Alright, I'm starting to cough a whole bunch, so I'm gonna retire from the commentary booth here. But thanks, you guys, for helping to put this on, especially Archfield. Just doing all this is great. I wasn't expecting a restream, so it's much appreciated.
Well, GG, aaron2u2. Go rest up. You had a race well run here. We sure enjoyed watching you operate.
Yes, this is the first of all of these races where I have to pretend like I actually know what I'm doing and live up to my title defense.
Well, 90% of being an adult is pretending you know what you're doing, right? So, there we are.
I guess so. Thanks again, guys. See you later.
GG, Aaron. See you later. Alright, Dweem on the march toward the Dragonlord here does not have a silver shield, so we'll be taking a little bit more damage on average than either Juef or Aaron did. Goes straight to that death necklace as well, having seen the opening stop spell, and it has to be said this is one of the tamer Dragonlord ones that you might hope to see in this flag set.
Absolutely, and I feel like for all 3 runners, we've seen a whole lot of stop spell.
Yeah.
And we land a first try stop spell on the Dragonlord. Now, we haven't seen any spells on that end, but that does mean Dweem won't be burning any turns trying to land one. And with that death necklace, we're going to be seeing a lot bigger numbers out of Dweem. 8 to 17 damage rather than the 6 to 12. So this should, knock on wood, go pretty quickly for them.
Yeah, expectation would be that he'll actually have some resources to spare at the end of this one here.
We all know how it goes when commentators
Right.
start talking about advantages and expectations.
Probably best left unsaid, but you know, we're just trying to do our job, right?
We do see a max roll deal 2 breath. And there's the max roll melee for 49 damage. Not a lot of doubles on Dweem's side.
Well, rolls have slowed down a little bit here toward the end as well, but that's actually 3 straight 9s if I'm not mistaken. But there we go, 1 heal more left in the tank for Dweem. The only
Closer
one
than we
of
thought it was going to be, but
Yeah.
Dweem got through. Get your GGs out, chat, and wipe that sweat off your brow.
Yep, Dweem will get the 2 points here for 3rd place.
Now, while Dweem finishes, do we have a visitor here in the booth?
You certainly do.
I believe we do. Juef, you sound a little bit quiet on my end.
Yeah, this should be better.
Yes, that's a little bit better. GG.
Thank you, and GG's, Aaron. Very nice. I'm very impressed by your time. That's like 13 minutes before me. I knew I was not gonna finish first, but wow.
It was a wild seed. Aaron's actually stepped away, but the big difference was the grind, finding those red dragons. Now, I saw you got a whole bunch of exploration done early on that unfortunately did not pan out for you. How were you feeling about all that?
Well, I was mostly feeling terrible about the grind. Indeed, I did not like anything I saw basically in terms of grinding until I saw that red dragon outside of Swamp Cave at some point, but it was either Plains tiles or Swamp tiles, and I did not have the armor then. So I thought this is going to be my grind, but I have to find it somewhere else. And then when I eventually found it again, I had almost everything done, so I finished everything and then grinded. I wish I had found them. They were earlier. They were in the desert close to. I think it was called just south of Tantigel. So had I known that earlier, I would have spent so much time there.
Yeah, and the tricky thing is there just weren't any other very good options. We didn't see, even in the triple digits, we didn't see a whole heck of a lot.
I think that
Yeah, I
Spectre
remember-
was probably one of the better things we saw, but it was not even quite a median, I don't think.
Yeah, and they were few and far between.
Yeah, the Wyvern were okay once you had Hurtmore, but they were pretty dangerous. Or at least that's how I remember them. First time I encountered it, it was in the Hawk's Nest, and they swept the floor with me. So I ran away from them pretty much until the end, and when I felt strong enough with billion HP and everything.
Yeah, the Wyvern was stronger than the Spike Tile there. That was the true boss of Hawksnest. Those green dragons weren't great. They had some defense, but they weren't hitting like that Wyvern.
I assume the sword was in Sharlock. I think I checked everything else.
Yes, we did see the sword. It was deep in Sharlock. Arch and I were joking that the flag set says short Sharlock, but Dweem had to go up, down, left, right, center to find the dang thing.
That is both impressive and sad. Well, congrats to Dweem for finding it. I'm impressed. If the sword, while you saw what happened, I did not find the sword, and I still went fight the Dragon Lord. I would have preferred grinding a few more levels with those red dragons rather than try and find the sword in Sharlock. I did not trust myself enough for that.
Yeah, that's one place where actually you and Aaron had identical Sharlocks. You went in, you checked the easy chests, you checked the Spike Tile, you checked for the beach chest to see if that was present, and just sent it. And that turned out to be the play, but it sure was tight towards the end there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was ready to go back home and go back to that red dragon grind spot, but I was pretty relieved when I saw that thou hast defeated the Dragon Lord by the end.
Yeah, both you and Aaron. You potentially last swing. Aaron definitely last swing. The fights were interesting. Aaron ran heavy on doubles, but had very low rolls. whereas you seem to be trending a little behind on the doubles, but we're getting 11s and 12s left and right, and they sure paid out in the end.
Yeah, I think they did. I expected more doubles indeed, considering I bought that silver shield, which I almost forgot. I'm not sure I would have made it if I had forgotten about it.
We're seeing the DL2 stats now. Did aaron2u2 hit exactly 163? Turns out the DL2 had 163 in the end.
I lost count at some point. It was about normal HP from my perspective. Yeah.
Well, anything else stand out to you about this seed?
Nothing except Aaron's amazing performance, and GG's to Dweem as well. That's a very nice time considering the seed. I'm sure we'll see some much faster and much easier seeds throughout the week, but everyone's done pretty well, and happy to have played. Thank you so much again for the restream, everyone. Apex Corvid, Archfield, and who's tracking? I think it's Schmike tracking.
And Schmike and Sama was here earlier. Sinister Sama.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It is so much appreciated, and thank you for the restream again and the chat. Without the chat, there wouldn't be restreams.
Absolutely. And again, GG to all of our runners. Harveece has forfeited. But I want to thank you all for coming out into the tournament and putting on a heck of a show for us. I want to thank Archfield for making this the show, for not only restreaming, but joining me here in the booth. And again, thank you to the runners, and thank you to the trackers. We had Schmike and Sinister Sama helping us keep track of everything, because with this quad box, Arch and I needed all the help that we could have here.
Yes, many thanks to both of our trackers and to chat for keeping us on our toes, because yeah, these seeds can really be something to try to keep track of, and if not for your assistance, we would be a little bit more at sea than we would be otherwise. So thank you as well, Apex. It was a great time. Hope we can do it again sometime.
This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Just a real quick check of tomorrow's schedule. There are 3 races on there, not quite sandwiched as closely together as today's 2 races, where we've got one at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's Group 11, Oog, Miplet, and Beta. Then at 7:30 Eastern, Group 4, High Spirits, Pav, Silly Dabbit, and Cyberdark. And at 10 Eastern, Group 9, Jackamus, making his return to DWR competition. So happy to see him back. Kigalus will be here, as well as Big Slamu and Stags28. So if you get a chance, please stop by. I think all 3 of those races are likely to be restreamed tomorrow. The first one at 4 o'clock is scheduled for DW Randomizer already, so please do stop by and make sure you give our runners a follow. I'm going to send that command real quick. Glad we were able to get this one on. I think I might even just take the VOD, download it, run it on the main channel sometime, just so we get the replay out there. Make sure everybody who wants to see it can see it, since this is sort of off the beaten path over here on my channel. But for all of our compatriots who helped put this one on, and to our admins as well, thank you so much for helping out with this one, and thanks to our racers as well. I think we're going to send it over to, let's see, I'm going to take a quick peek here. You know what, we've got some, let's see, I think we're going to go, we'll send it to Angel. We'll kick this one over to Angel FM. He's currently playing some Z1R. I'll actually, let me check in on his progress real quick. Is he deep into this one? Yeah, a little bit. 28 minutes, so he'll be done soon. But thanks everybody for joining. Thanks and GG to Harveece and chat. Glad you were able to make it for this one. Hope you had a good time. Hope everybody else had a good time too. And we'll see you soon. Check out some more DWR action tomorrow.